cargo.
What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. So sorry about the absence. We've been gone the past couple weeks, just letting set 5 kind of marinate and really getting to enjoy the games at locals and starting to brew up some interesting decks going into this current force throw meta. The team's been getting ready for Worlds because we do have a few people going out to Worlds this weekend. I'm recording this on Tuesday afternoon, so just a few more days until the team rides out. And man, I'm really excited for them to just get to enjoy the Worlds experience, the very first Star Wars Unlimited Worlds, you know, Galactic Championships. It's basically the biggest Star Wars event we've ever seen. So obviously there's a lot going on there, and we're very excited for our teammates to be going out there and repping 2 to base. So good luck to the team. Shout out to you guys. Also shout out to the Haven, our sponsor here at 2 to base. I mean, Matt over at the Haven Games really hooking us up, helping us out during our trip over at Galactics, and you know, just really excited to be representing the Haven Games, our local sponsor. Just Tuesdays, Swooze Days. So tonight we'll be at locals. So if you're from the Orlando area, we now have Swooze Days at the Haven. So Tuesday night locals, 7 p.m., $8 buy-in. Awesome vibes, and the store is open till midnight, so we get to play late games. I'm very excited for that. For those who are locals to Orlando, show up, come out, have a good time, and let's play some set 5. So today's video, though, what I want to talk about is a couple announcements. So we have local event announcements, and just overall this next couple months for Star Wars Unlimited is going to be so busy with events. They are just stacking on top of each other, which isn't a good thing, but is a good thing. We love to see the activity. We love to see the community have events to play in. But there's so many that I won't be able to go to all of them, but I do want to shout a few out here in the video today that are coming up that I think you guys will want to be a part of if you're able to make the trip out, or if you're local and you want to come out to these events. It's going to be really fun. So the other thing I want to talk about, you know, since we haven't dropped video here in a couple weeks, I really wanted to let set 5 sort of settle in, settle down, see what the meta is like before I just, you know, rush a meta thoughts video. So there's already been a few by some of your favorite creators, but I want to do my take as well. Why not? You know, it's a huge discussion right now, and it's worth taking a look at. And what we're talking about is force throw. So the card force throw, I'll put it up on the screen for you guys. You know, pay 1, basically, you know, discard your opponent's hand if you have a force unit, which in this meta we're always going to have a force unit. Most of the time you'll have a force unit. Maybe not always if you're not playing a force focused deck, but force throw is just one of these, the boogeyman card right now, where people are saying, you know, the next ban card. So we'll get into a discussion about that. But yeah, guys, thanks for being here. Thanks for coming back. Sorry for the absence again. Just life happens. I was also, you know, just busy with life and work stuff. So I try to put out as much as I can. We were on a roll there, probably like 2 or 3 videos a week. And then we just kind of hit this little set 5 came out slump. And then I was just so dedicated into locals, building decks, and honing in on family stuff as well as personal stuff. Started going back to the gym, so I'm stoked on that. But yeah, lots been going on. We'll catch up. Well, right now, let's get into the video. So let's see. Let me change my video. So let me change my screen. There we are. Okay. So yes, it's happening. So 2 to base event will be held at the Haven Games in Orlando. It is going to be a 3v3 event. I wanted to wait to announce this until after PQs were announced so we can start to gather on the date. But this will be a 3v3 event at the Haven Games, sponsored by the Haven Games and 2 to base. So we are putting on this event, hosted at the Haven Games. We're very excited. Shout out to Matt for being down to host the event. We'll be doing raffles, good prizing, and just overall good vibes at the event. Well, the last 3v3 event that I went to was the Boston Invitational, which they've also announced their Boston Invitation. Yes, Seattle 2, essentially. Boston Invitational 2, it's going to be in November. So our event might lie a little bit before that, so I'm thinking September. And that's where my thoughts are on the time frame. Just because August is a little crazy. We have 2 PQs in August. We've got a 1K that's, well, I'm about to, on my next slide, we'll talk about having 3v3 is definitely happening. And then let me go on my next slide. We'll talk about Deep Dive Games, the 5K that's happening in Georgia, August 9th, the weekend of the PQ in Orlando that's happening. There's also a huge 5K in Georgia. So for the Georgia folks who can't make it down to the PQ, or maybe they want to skip out on the PQ and hit up a huge 5K, Deep Dive Games in Georgia is throwing a 5K. Shout out to that whole team and that whole gang over there. Make sure to keep an eye out for this event because, I mean, huge prize at stake. And, you know, if you're local to Georgia area, this is definitely one of the events you probably want to pull up to. If you're not able to make it to the Orlando PQ, or you're just looking to skip out on PQs, this is your next big event. Obviously, we want to see what Set 5 meta is going to be all about. And this weekend we have Worlds coming up, so with these events in mind, we'll see what happens with the changes to some rulings, possible card suspensions, and that kind of leads me to probably the reason you clicked on this video in the first place. Thank you for letting me run you guys through the events and all the community stuff. But right now, let's go into this. So, Force discussion, post-ban meta thoughts. So I titled that on purpose because it kind of reminds me of the Boba, the Set 1 Boba leader, when Boba's armor came out kind of vibes, and it was like, this card's going to be a problem. Essentially, this is a little different, though, because this card was already out in Set 1. You know, then we have Han 2 comes out. Han 2 was a good leader, but he wasn't like, I don't think he was the best leader or known as the Boogeyman leader, but right now he is. Why? Because you're able to, ahead of curve, play bigger, badder units. You're able to force store yourself to kill anything with a Crate Dragon, pretty much. So that's the whole discussion, is like, it's really gatekeeping a lot of leaders' decks from being good. I mean, even decks like Kira have suffered just from this one card, because for 1 cost, when you deploy your Kira, I can force throw myself and throw away a 4-cost unit, and there goes their Kira flip. So it's actually changed the meta so much to where Kira is just went from being the best deck, one of the best decks. I don't know if it was the best deck, but you know, won a couple of the biggest tournaments, to now I'm not sure we can consider playing that deck. A lot of people have pivoted to Kylo instead of Kira, mainly probably because of just the deploy factor. There might be more value in Kylo's deploy right now because he's got 7 health, and then of course when you put upgrades on him, making him more strong, able to survive, giving you card filtering with his ability, people have kind of pivoted to that. So Force Throw, I know a lot of creators are talking about ban the card. It's not even up for discussion. We're already assuming this is going to get banned. I'll give a quick my thoughts on it. I mean, I don't think the meta has been established long enough to declare this card being able to be banned. I might be wrong. Probably am. But I will say there are counters. I mean, it's not really counter to the card, but I mean, if they don't draw Force Throw, or if they go to Force Throw you and you're able to discard a cheap costed card and have it make no impact, then that in itself is a counter. So at 50% rate, you're almost like able to decide the fate of the turnout of this card being played. But a lot of times the big issue is where you're force throwing yourself to kill any leader that deploys by holding a high cost card in your hand, waiting for that deploy. So it's a 1-cost Rival's Fall is a way that some people are seeing it. So I get that, and that part right there is probably the biggest issue with the card. That's the issue with the card, and then it's also Han just being able to... You already bring huge units out above curve, and then if they play their big unit to combat your cheated in bigger unit, they could just force throw you or force throw themselves to kill that unit. So you just... It's a one-cost kill anything. That's really what it is. That's what it's coming down to. Do I think it should be banned? It probably should be banned. Just to keep things interesting and decks a little bit stronger. Some decks are literally being shut down, as where last season they were playable, all of a sudden just not playable anymore. And it's all because of one card really causing this issue. Last time we had this happen with DJ banned, Boba's armor. Boba's armor wasn't banned, but Boba was banned, which was the bigger issue. And that's what gets into my next point. That's a great segue into, is Han 2 the issue, or is Force Throw the issue? Because I've played and testing, I've felt like, okay, the card's good, but this doesn't feel that bannable, if that makes sense. Because maybe it's these decks that are able to hold on to crate dragons or hold on to high cost ships to be able to throw them at your... So they're having to throw away their top end to kill one of your leader or one of your big units, but then they're also down a top end card to finish the game. So, and yeah, sure, maybe it's all they need to do is kill that one big unit, and that pretty much sets them up to win the game. So either way, it's a problem. But yeah, I think it's an interesting topic. I think it's worth looking at. I think FFG is going to obviously keep eyes on it. I think it's insane that this card is going to be, legal during Worlds, but that will be, the biggest event ever will be the source to tell, like, okay, it's an issue by data. They have the data to show that. I actually didn't mean to go to final thoughts. So let me go to this here real quick. We'll actually look at, like, some of the tournament results. So let me pull up my screen. So looking at this, I just pulled up like the most recent tournaments here, just to give a glimpse of what we're seeing. So obviously there's 3 Han 2 decks over the course of the last, what day is it? Basically last week. I mean, this is what we're seeing. So mostly minor tournaments. Actually, they're all pretty minor. A Store Showdown having the most at 53 is interesting. 1.5k, and then there was some other tournaments, online tournament. You're not really seeing half the list as Han 2, and how many of these decks are playing Force Throw? Probably 1, 2, 3. So the 3 are the Thousands, the Inquisitor, and the Han. So out of that whole list, you actually have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 decks that aren't running Force Throw. And even if you go... Yeah, so that's for Legends of the Force set tournaments. So I just don't think right now is enough data to say, oh, it's banned. Like, some people are sure just by their testing that the card should be banned, but I think there's still some data to run through. I think there's still room for looking into this, gathering what we can from the events, and making our decisions then. Do I think that the world will just crumble if the card isn't banned? I don't really think so. I think that we have enough good players out here to find ways to sort of work around it. It's almost like a luck thing at that point. Like, whoever drew, if I draw my Force Throws first, then I win. Sure, like, you could say that, but I still think we need the data to really prove this. But yes, it's a problem card. I think we'll be fine if it's banned, fine if it's not. It's probably better that it is banned, but I don't think it's as bad as like the DJ or the Han, the Han DJ interaction, that whole thing. Triple Dark Raid. I don't think it's nearly as bad, and that's my opinion. Roast me in the comments, please. I love the activity. With the comments and stuff, just sharing everyone's thoughts and opinions, it's great. So shoot it at me. I'm down to talk about it. Guys, I wanted to make this a quick video just so we can get our flow back, getting videos back out. But we'll touch base again. The next time I drop a video will probably be Thursday this week. So going to give a update there on probably some of the local stuff that we've been testing. Sleeper decks is another video I'm thinking about. Just because I think that's what's on our mind right now is what can we do to get around these force decks, and I think there's a few that we're not thinking about that might be good to play at your locals or something, or maybe even at a big tournament. Well, appreciate you guys for coming by. Take it easy, and I'll see you on the next one.